This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain.
What's going on, world? Welcome to the Music and Mental Health Podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain. Last month, I had such a blast having Eddie Edward on that I decided to do it again this month, but with a new guest. This guy is beyond amazing. He hails out of North England. His name is Dave Martin, and if you don't know of him already, well, you'll know him now. You gotta watch out for this guy. He makes just absolutely incredible music. No matter what he touches, it turns to gold. So Dave, thank you for being on the podcast this month. The next hour of music that you hear will be from Dave Martin. And then after that, there will be a discussion on mental health topics with yours truly and Nathan Ashby, aka DJ Fat Rain. But first, as supported recently by Ferry Corsten, this is Eddie Edward with Sunsmack. Enjoy.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
Let's not wait for summer. Let's not wait for summer. Let's not wait for summer.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
Those of you who know the podcast will know this one. That was Dave Martin's remix of Count on Me by Eddie Edward. And up next is a banger by Kojin called How Will I Know? I hope you enjoy.
How do you know how you will feel when everything changes?
music and mental health podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain. Music and Mental Health Podcast.
I think that might be my favorite track by Dave Martin. It's gold. Actually, it's called Yellow. Dad jokes, gotta love them. And up next, we've got I Am Mountain and Nobex with The Forgotten. Enjoy.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast. Mental Health Podcast.
After I heard that remix is when I truly fell in love with Dave Martin. That was his remix of Hansel by Wade Watts. And up next, we've got the Mayor Levy remix of Sink the Lighthouse by Above and Beyond. Enjoy.
Sink the lighthouse. Since fear itself is cruel and selfish, a contradiction, a fatal addiction. You've tried to shout out my words in your mouth, but they'll cry their eyes out if we sink the lighthouse. We're hard on the angels' heels, with fire and brimstone wheels. The meadow is starred with bones and flowers and tears. The ships a mile out, don't blow the lights out. They'll cry their eyes out if we sink the lighthouse.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
Sink the lighthouse. Darkness closing, we're decomposing. We're made of starlight from a cruel and dark night. The guilty crushed out, we left in no doubt. They'll cry their eyes out if we sink the lighthouse.
And with a few less tinny saw stabs, that is our remix of Anjuna Family. And by our, I mean Wade Watts. Up next, we've got Andrew Bayer and Genix with Love You More in My Next Life mix. This one's a banger. Enjoy.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain. Music and Mental Health Podcast.
That track was ID. I don't even know what it is. But I like the mystery. Keeps things alive. To close out the podcast before we get to our mental health discussion, here's Oliver Smith versus Tritonal and Paris Blome featuring Sterling Fox with Color House, Dave Martin's mashup. Hope you enjoy.
the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
that concludes the music portion. Without further ado, here's the discussion on mental health topics with yours truly and Nathan Ashby, aka DJ Fat Rain. Hey, everybody. I am Theology.
And I am DJ Fat Rain.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast, episode 5. Today, we are sponsored by Hot Dog Island on the middle of the Cannon Falls River. If you want a nice sausage while you are tubing down the Cannon Falls River in Minnesota, look no further than Hot Dog Island.
Wieners for all. And we don't need to say don't sue us because they won't sue us.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
Also,
they'd be like, thanks for the free promo, but also don't
sue us.
Yeah,
please don't sue us.
Please don't sue us. I just really liked your hot dogs. Okay, so what do you want to talk about today? I was thinking maybe we would start with talking about breathing, because that's something that I feel like can really help your mental health. It has helped me in several scenarios. I've did it a few times even at work this week where I was really frustrated and I was just like, a few times, and I felt great. But I know that you know more than I do about the benefits of breathing in a mental health context, or maybe you don't know more, but you've acted like you do in the past. So
definitely keeps you alive and going.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
That's a big one.
Right. But I remember in life coaching sessions with you before a few of them, we would do some breathing exercises, and that really, really was great. What were your thoughts and why we did that? Because I would never have thought of that.
In specifics to coaching and any type of conversation like that, it allows both parties to settle and align energetically and create connection, but also just within your body, whatever you're coming into the session with, whether you're feeling anxiety, whether you're feeling excitement, whatever it is, it just allows you to temper that down, clear your mind, become present with yourself, and become present in the conversation.
Sure. Do you want to do 3 right now?
Sure.
Okay.
So just gonna close your eyes, sit in a comfortable position. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths, and there'll be a count with it. So breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to do a 5 count. So breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2, 2, and release for 5 through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Breathe through your nose for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just keep your eyes closed and sit with this for 10 seconds or so. And just feel into your body. Relax. And become present with yourself. How do you feel?
Amazing. I always feel amazing after doing that. And yet I don't do it often enough. I don't know why.
This kind of goes back to what we were talking about last time around autopilot, right? Yeah. Breathing is a very natural function for us. We breathe out in general thinking about it.
Right.
When you actually really focus on your breath, it's actually a lot harder than we think it is. Because when you breathe in deeper, and you fill your lungs, you're like, oh, I can't actually breathe for as long as I thought I could. Oh God.
Yeah.
And then you start freaking out. You're like, no, just slow it down. Like, it's a process. And it also increases lung capacity.
Sure.
Very good for focus, because if you're always in your head, breathing, especially within meditation, it's a very important way of centering yourself. If you ever start having thoughts and you're going off track, you always bring yourself back to the breath.
Right.
Just
yeah, man. I remember using Headspace for a while. Thanks to you, in fact. You gave me that month sub for free.
We're not sponsored, but if you want to,
we're not.
Reach out.
But if you want to, please. No, that was, they actually did that a lot. I'm pretty sure it was like pretty much before every single one, they had you breathe. And then they talked about something. And then did they end it with a breathing exercise? I don't know. I don't remember, but I mean, it would have been beneficial regardless.
Yeah. It's important. And it's something we don't think about on a regular basis, but it can make a huge impact on your life. And it's not just for meditation, right? If you think about, I always love to talk about phrases that are used commonly in society, but you don't really think about meanings or origins, right? Take a beat, like take a breath, like from your musician point of view, it's like, oh, I just want you to take a beat.
Yeah.
All right, take a second for yourself. And instead of reacting, take a breath, breathe, and don't allow your nervous system to take over. And it's allowing you to be in more control of your response instead of letting your autonomic nervous system take over.
This is why I said earlier, you know more about breathing than I do.
And I am not a full expert.
Yeah.
Like I just practice.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what's up. I mean, I would never have been able to whip out the autonomic nervous system in that sentence, like ever. No, that's awesome, dude. So, what are some ways in which you have noticed that breathing does help you in your mental health struggles?
It gives me a chance to get out of my head and go back to that phrase of I am not my thoughts, because not everybody is in the head. There are people out there who don't have a internal dialogue.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is crazy to think about. Like, I remember when I was young, and I mean, this must happen to everybody, but we all have our own personal experiences as we're learning about the world around us and how other people are. I remember very distinctly, like, do people see things the way that I see things? Like my eyes and everything. And, you know, it's the same thing with our thoughts. We kind of assume that everyone thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I did.
Has a process.
Until I recently found out that, yeah, not everybody has that.
Because they verbalize everything. They speak their minds instead of, you know, holding up here, processing, and then verbalizing. So thinking in your head can be great, but that is that separation of ego. And that, okay, is this thought process helping me or harming me? Is this a story that I've been telling myself for years? And this is a really interesting thing that I've been kind of working through personally with my mental health, is that are the stories that we tell ourselves, do they come from someone else? Did someone say when we were 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever it is, did someone out there say, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're not smart, you'll never get anywhere in life? And you took that on as truth. And then you repeat that to yourself, and then it becomes truth.
Yeah.
What happens when you start telling yourself a different story?
And I was going to bring this up because, I mean, yes, you can say like, I am not my thoughts, right? But could I perhaps say I am not my negative thoughts? Because I feel like you can become your positive thoughts. And that is what you were just saying there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes. And I think, but that can be a slippery slope, because that is subjective. One person's positive can be another person's negative.
Right. Absolutely.
So there's ethics and various other things, but you're not wrong within general.
Right.
But for your own personal journey, right? You're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, you're that. And if these stories and thoughts are stopping you from living your life and living your potential, can you just say, you know what? People say I'm stupid, but I also have the capacity to not believe that. And I'm going to put the energy, like, negative thoughts require a lot of energy. I mean, drama, numbness, terror, news, social media, like all of these things require energy.
And it's draining if you're watching like too much negative news. Like, oh my gosh. Like there's a point that I like just don't even watch the news because it seems to always just be negative. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like almost never. So
you have to keep a limited window because we only have so much brain capacity. We only have so much time. We only have so much presence.
Yeah.
And if we're giving all of our presence to other people, what do we have left for ourselves?
Right. Exactly.
Then I remember I used to tell you an analogy in our coaching sessions where it's like, if you wake up in the morning, you have a full glass of water. And to go back to our previous conversation, you read social media for an hour, you get up, you read, you look at the news. Before you've even really started your day, you've already gone down to a half glass. And you have to, like, it gets even dimmer from there. So when you get back from work at 5, 6 o'clock, whatever it is, no wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you have nothing for yourself. No wonder that you work in the 5-day-a-week rat race and you come back and you look forward to the Friday and the weekend. You're like, yeah, it's Saturday.
Right.
And you get like a day and a half of dealing with all the things you didn't have time or energy for during the week. And then it's Sunday at 7 o'clock and you're like, here we go again.
Yeah. What did I just do this entire time? Right. And now we're back in the grind once more in a few hours.
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
And do that for 6 months, do that for a year. And no wonder people's mental health is in the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is a lot to be said too about the whole work climate that is, going on in the world right now. Where, people are like workers, I feel like are finally starting to like have rights. Like, wow, what a concept. And they're realizing like, yeah, no, I don't want to flip burgers for $7.25 an hour and literally struggle when this corporation is worth billions of dollars. Like, yeah. But that is another thing too to talk about, right? Is this whole rat race. I know you mentioned it before we started recording here. And that's something I have been thinking about a lot. Like, is it possible to escape? Is it? Even if you are in the rat race, which I know many of us are, what tactics can we take to escape it to the best that we can with where our current situation will allow it? I want to give a lot of disclaimers here because I realize that not everyone can just up and quit their job and become an influencer and yay, happy ever after. Like, what if the whole economy did that? Like, it wouldn't function, right? So, yeah, I don't know. What are some of your thoughts there on, tactics that we can use?
Is it a fuck yes or is it a fuck no?
Yeah, I remember you saying that last episode. Yeah.
To go deeper than that, if you wake up every day, and this is something I've struggled with, if you wake up every day and you breathe that sigh of, here we go again, that sounds like a fuck no. And it's not as easy as just saying, oh, I'm going to quit my job and start a business. I mean, some people can do that.
Right.
They have that ability. Yep. Some people can't. So we live in a society where it's all about instant gratification. We've been trained to get the dopamine fixes.
Yeah.
Everywhere, right? Like
scroll, instant slot machine, dopamine, new content. Yeah.
Yep.
Seriously. Yeah.
And think longer term. Like, you can have a 2-year plan. Life can get a lot easier when you have an end point. And you say to yourself, no matter what happens on this day, I'm out. Like I've worked towards this. And think about what's in your life. What's a fuck yes? Like, think about what makes you smile at this second. It could be people call me Plant Daddy because I love my plants, although there's nothing in this room at the second because I just moved into a new place.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
love my
assuming
plants.
it'll be filled with
Soon
glorious
enough.
plants. Yes.
Glory.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Plants.
Anyways.
Hello, Mr. Pothos. But think about what's a fuck yes in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
And happiness is something that's been sold to you. There's the adage of like, money can't buy happiness. It can buy temporary happiness.
Right.
Money can give you the ability to have long-term happiness because you can be out of the struggle. And it's that piece of what money can change, right? If you don't have to worry on the daily about paying your bills, paying your rents, these kind of things, you can be more present. It's more about what brings you fulfillment.
Yeah, I suppose. Like, and I know when I originally posed this question to you, it was really broad, right? Because like it's a broad question. How do I escape the rat race? Because to a certain extent, I feel like, you know, some of us are going to be in that, right? But there are ways, there are things to do. Have you ever read The 4-Hour Workweek?
Good old Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know that gets referenced a lot in like self-help, you know, guru status. I read that book. I thought it was good. But with everything, as with everything that I do in life, I eat the meat and spit out the bones. And I do remember there was one portion of the book that I especially liked, because, and this ties into some stuff we were talking about earlier as far as the news and stuff, the low information diet. Do you remember that part of the book? Yeah. So the low information diet was basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. It is like it sounds. It's taking in as little information as possible besides what you think is very important. And I don't remember like exactly what he said in there. Obviously some people could correct me or whatever, but I do remember him saying that, you know, only check news like I think it was like once a week or something, or maybe he said not at all, because like any news stories that are prominent you would just hear about them probably, right? Because people talk, like that's how it is. And I really like this concept of the low information diet because, you know, we live in a world where content is being bombarded at you 24/7, 365 at all times. Heck, this is even, I guess you could consider this content being bombarded at you, but you know, we're not actually sponsored by Surfshark VPN yet. So I guess we have a ways to go, but that said, I think that if we have the ability to sift through and know what information we should be taking in and what information we shouldn't be taking in, because there's a lot of crap out there. That is one way, that is one tiny minute step that we can take to escape the rat race. And here's why. As we are refocusing our efforts onto things that matter, we have more energy to spend on other things. Think about it, because you said earlier, you're like, yeah, negative thoughts require energy. Were those your exact words? I don't remember if they were. Okay, yeah. So negative thoughts require energy. A lot of the information out there is negative information. It's not good. It's not beneficial. It doesn't help us at all. And so if we're limiting that kind of, I guess, intake, that is one minute way we can escape the rat race. And now you're saying like, oh, well, you know, Matt, that doesn't help me escape this job that I hate. Right. But baby steps, right? I want to talk about this concept as well of death by 1,000 cuts. I think that is a really, really, really cool concept. And I have applied this in my life in so many ways. And it's this whole concept of, well, yeah, they might be tiny cuts, but after 1,000, you're dead. Right. And if we retranslate that and we think about that as, I'm going to do something for myself today, it could be the tiniest, minute little thing. But after 1,000 times of doing it, or 1,000 times of, doing things that are good for the mental health, good for your brain, 1,000 times of saying, no, I'm not going to scroll on social media and TikTok for an hour today. 1,000 times of, for me personally, 1,000 times of, I'm going to work on music, whether it be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. At least I did something, because doing something is better than nothing. And I feel like once we have the wherewithal to go about doing that, we are taking steps toward escaping the rat race. Make self-improvement steps. Go on YouTube. Like, look at how to, like, you can do anything you want if you just go on YouTube and learn how to do it. Like, I've done that with so many things. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can't learn how to like fly because humans can't fly. Like, don't be stupid. Right.
In our minds.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm ranting. I want you to talk now. I'm sorry. That was enough.
No, you're good. It's all valid stuff. I read the Daily Stoic, and this one kind of came up, and it kind of applies to this, where it's a quote. It's like, circumstances are what deceive us. You must be discerning in them. We embrace evil before good. We desire the opposite of what we once desired. Our prayers are at war with our prayers, our plans with our plans. So this is just
expound on that.
The conflict of saying one thing and doing another. So when someone says, I want to meet a really nice person who's going to bring this into my life. He's going to be nice. He's going to be this, but you still continue to go to bars and take home jerks. Like, you're not living with what you're saying. If you are like, oh, I want a better job, I want a different job, but you don't put any effort into it, what you're saying is positive, but your actual action is negative within it, because you're not following through with your desire. So there's a conflict. And when there is a conflict within that, you're never going to win.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of Hobson Illmind. I think it's 5. It's a music video of him in this like basement, and he's basically like rapping at people that are like the one example you gave of like, the person who's like, oh, I want like a Romeo, but you're still doing all this other crap. Like, he really lays that out really well in that song. But anyways, that was just a side note.
I got a segue.
Yeah.
Best music video of all time in your personal opinion. Like, what comes to mind instantly?
Goodness, I don't really watch music videos that much, but
back in the day, like
Aha, Take on Me. It's legendary. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. What about you?
3 MCs and 1 DJ by Beastie Boys.
I will need to see that because I never have.
It's a great music video.
Well, you heard it here first.
3 MCs and 1 DJ by Beastie Boys.
I like that. All right, I'll watch it after the episode.
Got to throw some music in there, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's this dichotomy of words versus action.
Mm-hmm.
And a really great book to read if no one's read it, 4 Agreements. It's a very short book, but you will reread it a lot of times. And one of the agreements is you have to honor your word.
Mm-hmm.
Because within spirituality and everything else, everything is energy.
Yeah.
We are energy. Everything is around us energy. The chair you're sitting in, the earpods you have in your ears are all based on energy. It's carbon, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
When you say something, this goes back to our talking about stories and the stories we take on.
Mm-hmm.
You're an idiot. I am saying to you, and I'm putting, well, they say black magic, right?
Sure.
I have said something to you that now you have to think about and take on. Like, am I an idiot? Am I stupid?
Right.
Well, did I do that last week? Oh my God, I am. And now suddenly, boom, words are power.
Yeah.
Words are powerful. And if you always say to yourself, I'm never going to be great, I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to be this. But on the other hand, you're saying, like, I want to be. Okay, they're at conflict with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So align them. And you can say, you know what? I know people have said this in the past. I don't believe it. I'm going to do this. And then you actually put the action and energy into it. Now they align.
Yeah, totally.
And that story starts to fade. And then who gives a shit what other people think about you?
Yeah, right.
You have literally zero control over what someone's opinion is. We judge people in the first 10 seconds, and that's all based upon our life experience, our biases, whatever it is, right? We make automatic judgments about people, whether we like them or we don't.
And we always think we're right.
And we always think we're right.
Yeah.
And unconscious bias has a big part to play in this.
Right.
You know, if you go out to the South and you meet some rednecks, you're like, oh, you're just a redneck. You're stupid. I mean, there's plenty of smart people out there who come from redneck backgrounds.
Seriously, dude. Yeah, that's very true. Never judge a book by its cover, man. Ever.
Yeah. So separate yourself out. And if people are feeling that way, maybe they're intimidated by you. Maybe you're being so amazing. Maybe they're trying to put you down because they within themselves feel terrible about themselves. So it's really easy to put someone else down to make yourself feel better.
Very much.
But we take that on as us.
Right.
When in general it isn't.
Yeah. It's kind of a closing thought. You know, since I'm a human being too, there are times where that has happened to me. And I am a robot. No, I have definitely had to, to come up with a tactic in order to kind of, combat that. And usually what I do is I look in the mirror and I look straight at myself and I tell myself good things.
Have you tried writing on your mirror?
No.
Take a dry erase marker and you can write on your mirror and you write things to remind yourself in the mornings.
I have seen that though. I do like that concept.
People shit on it. Like, but it's like, you know what?
Like it's
a daily reminder when you wake up, when you're brushing. Like, imagine for 2 minutes a day. Well, more than that. Let's say 4 minutes a day, morning and night, you brush your teeth. What else do you have to do apart from brush your teeth and stand there?
Yeah.
You have it in front of you.
Right.
You can do exercising, which I do as well. I do stretching while I brush my teeth, but
that's awesome.
It's right there in front of you.
Dude, yeah. And again, that goes back to the death by 1,000 cuts. That's a little tiny thing that you can do to elevate your mental health. Because like I'm thinking back to when I was brushing my teeth this morning. Well, I don't really remember it, to be honest, because it was just going through the motions. It was mundane. I was just brushing my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what if I did have something written on my mirror to remind me? And then that's what I thought about for those 2 minutes. Boom. You do that 1,000 times, you're on top of the world. Wow. Did we just unlock the key to Lucky Charms? Woo!
Oh, I can't remember the last time I had Lucky Charms.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by them either, but yeah.
We're not sponsored by them either. Please don't sue us.
Don't sue us.
Please don't sue us. I would say my closing thought for people are, it's like, what stories do you tell yourself that have a negative impact on your life that have been told to you? And ask yourself, are these actually true?
Right. I would say, what stories do you repeat to yourself that others have told you that are not actually true? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I like that.
Yeah. Because chances are they're not true.
And if they are true, think about it this way. Maybe they were told to you when you were 10 and you took that on and now you're 26 and now they are truth because you allowed yourself to be your truth.
Yes.
And I hate the phrase live your truth. I don't like that. I
kind of think subjective.
It's very subjective, but truth is a very subjective thing.
Mm-hmm.
But truth is what we accept. And that's something that we're dealing with within our society in a different way. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, right. That's yeah.
But
that's a lot.
Truth is malleable, and it's what you accept.
Right.
If you want to live a better life, find what that looks like for you. Being healthy, going to the gym, finding a better job, make a plan, find what fulfills you. Think about what stories have been told to you and what you believe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I remember the last episode, or was it this episode? I don't know. My memory's already, but you were talking about being a completely different version of yourself, like down the road, right? And what you just said, the whole like maybe somebody told that to you when you were 10, and now in this version of yourself that you are as 26, you become that because you believed a lie. Well, acknowledge that it's a lie, and then move forward from that and realize that, heck, maybe even when you're 27, you're going to be a different version of yourself. And if you don't believe those lies, you'll be a better version of yourself.
And I know people out there thinking like, oh, this is easier said than done. It's like, yes.
Yeah, it very much is.
100%.
Yep.
But you have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere.
And it starts with a thought.
Yep.
So take this thought, put energy into it, think about it, write things down, and start the process.
Yep.
Because only you can do this for yourself.
Exactly.
Nobody else can do it for you.
And it's better to start somewhere than to not start at all. Remember, death by 1,000 cuts is a powerful concept, and you can accomplish a lot if you apply it to your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And on that note,
yes. If you guys want to continue the discussion, link to the Discord is down below. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, all the things YouTubers say. Yeah.
Support us so we can support other people.
Yep. That's really all we want to do. In this weird world we live in, we just want to be that tiny voice that says, yes, mental health matters. Nathan, DJ Fat Rain, great talking with you as always.
Say I love you to somebody today who's important to you in your life.
Yes, that will be absolutely crucial. Hey, I love you, Nathan.
Love you too, brother.
Love it.
All right.
See you guys next time. Peace and love.
Peace and love.